Good evening. You are watching the evening show by the Explicit. On Tuesday, President Trump posted on Truth Social, I quote, I'm pleased to announce that the interim authorities in Venezuela will be turning over between 30 and 50 million barrels of high quality sanctioned oil to the United States of America. This oil will be sold at its market price, and that money will be controlled by me as President of the United States of America to ensure it is used to benefit the people of Venezuela and the United States, unquote. President Trump is actually forlorn after his close one, Epstein, died. This might explain how he's acting so wildly. Meanwhile, US foes and allies have taken up this matter with the UN Council for the inhumane and illegal arrest of the Venezuelan leader Nicolas Maduro, warning that America has violated the international law. Brazil, China, Colombia, Cuba, Eritrea, Mexico, Russia, South Africa, and Spain are among the countries that denounced the president's decision on Monday. Though Russia and China have restrained and called on the US to immediately release Maduro, the Council seems to be paralyzed as it doesn't appear to be making collective response. Talking of the paralyzed actions, there is something. President Trump has once again commented on PM Modi on Tuesday. He commented, I quote, I have a very good relationship with him. He's not that happy with me because they are paying a lot of tariffs now. Because they are not doing the oil. We are getting rich because of tariffs, by the way. Hope everyone understands, unquote. An apple polisher. I think he has some daddy issues because he's so desperate to gain some kind of attention from PM Modi. In fact, he himself has said in the past, emphasize that he may look like your father, but he's tough. So it fits the psychology of having daddy issues. However, after all, the tariffs are not doing anything good except for their bad economics of gaining $650 billion annually. Let's now give a moment to the numbers though. The US debt has this staggering $38 trillion against the nominal GDP of $30.6 trillion. Now, under your rule, the debt has increased to over $2.23 trillion, which means $6.12 billion per day. So, how do you justify this $650 billion? Is it for another island you are looking after the US is doomed under your rule and your frivolous policies? I think that President Trump is actually so lost in the international affairs that he forgot about the national affairs of the US when the Supreme Court will do a hearing on the Trump tariffs on Friday this week. The guy got a complete term as a president, but he still doesn't know how the presidency works. For example, his remark on the Greenland and turbulence in the NATO, a 76-year-old coalition that now has cracks from within. Greenland, being the world's biggest island, lies in the Arctic and is an autonomous territory of Denmark. On Greenland's capture remarks by President Trump, several NATO countries, including UK, France, and Germany, have issued a joint statement on the sidelines of the Ukraine talks that the security in the Arctic should be achieved collectively together with the NATO allies, including US. And it was on Denmark and Greenland alone to decide over the issue, for which the US side replied, guess what? No. Given that America was always respected among the NATO countries, it would have gone through this issue diplomatically. But again, since President Trump was born with a silver spoon, he don't have that patience to go through all of these, eventually rushing and ruining it for everyone. Confronting the peace talks of the Ukraine-Russia war, Russia triggered overnight strikes in the private medical facility in Kyiv, killing one person and wounding three others. Launching at least 165 drones and 9 missiles overnight, Russia has given its response to the peace talks that were going to happen. However, the UK and France signed a declaration of intent to deploy troops in Ukraine if the peace deal is made with Russia. The troops may be deployed to deter future invasion. By now, Russia has already claimed 20% of the Ukrainian land, and the West seems to be in the deterred situation, where they are even afraid to consider the role of Russia in the peace deal. Before any conclusions or future strategies, they need to understand one thing, that it is important for President Putin to agree to the summit's conclusion. It is as if they are just trying to hold on to something out of thin air. Your old member, USA, has degraded the conditions to such a level that amid these empty peace talks, there is an escalation between Washington and Caracas. And Russia now has officially become a part of this tension, intervening through the submarines. Yes, according to the reports, US Coast Guards have been chasing oil tanker Marinera for more than 2 weeks since it left waters near Venezuela. But when it was finally found, guess what? It was reported as empty and rusting. In these dramatic series of events, the crew members have painted a Russian flag on the vessel, and this flag changing action, according to US, is international against the international law. Look who is talking about the laws here. Coming to the Europe, it pushes for digital infrastructure in 2026. The digital infrastructure laws in 2026 aims to have a single objective. Guess what? Reduce the reliance on foreign, majorly American technology companies. When President Trump threatened with the tariffs and economic sanctions, further barring the former EU Commissioner Terry Breton and civil society activists from entering the country, Europe prepared for the retaliatory measures through this law. Since Europe lacks its own independent digital stack, the US government forced continuous weaponization of this vulnerability have accelerated the political momentum across the EU. Hence, Europe is deciding to take a lead in their hands, making them reduce reliance of US clouds, AI, and semiconductor ecosystem. Seems President Trump will doom America one day. The fate is decided by someone's actions and fortunes. I mean, this is true in Iran's army chief's case, who freshly gave a statement to America. He said, I quote, the Islamic Republic of Iran considers the escalation of hostile rhetoric against the Iranian nation a threat and will not tolerate its continuation without responding, unquote, according to the Fars news agencies. I would say, understand the power dynamics. The US already hit three major Iranian nuclear sites. Do you still have a hope of retaliation? Talking of Israel, Jerusalem has a new kind of protest now, as thousands of the ultra Orthodox Haredi Jews protested against a proposed law which conscript them into the Israel's military on the severe manpower shortage. When these demonstrations started against this law, it felt that it would immediately end, given that were on the opposite side. But it turned deadly when a bus struck protesters, killing 14-year-old boy and injuring three others. When the police arrested the bus driver, a mass protest evoked, further clashing the security forces. While Israel stands strong in this extraneous condition, PM Netanyahu and PM Modi further prioritizes the India-Israel strategic partnership and have reiterated on the zero tolerance approach towards terrorism in all forms and manifestations. There might be an implementation of the Gaza peace plan this year, which may go right as a fiddle.
UAE has a new proposition for the business owners. Invest in us and forget about it. It is the new way, or we can say, live in a democratic nation, but your company will run under a monarchy. However, since these laws were drafted by an erudite, they state, and I quote, when a company is established in the country, the company takes the status of an Emirati company. This already exists. It does not guarantee citizenship to the owners. The company itself is recognized as a UAE company. If local governments want to issue incentives for local companies, this covers that as well. There's a lot of benefit in that, unquote. For a minute, I'm also confused whether this offer is exciting, because let's admit, we are all doing bad after Trump. The UAE has signed more than a dozen CAPAs with the countries, including India, Turkey, Indonesia, Israel, South Korea, Cambodia, Georgia, Colombia, and Mauritius, with several more under negotiation. The illusion is that these deals will reduce or eliminate tariffs, further easing customs and opening up new sectors. It may attract those businesses that have their business in India, Australia, GCC nations. But tell me one thing, won't you pay taxes in your own country even if you earn in the UAE? Then what is the end of this deal? The deal doesn't guarantee citizenship to the owner, and you really don't know if your business will have turbulences because of other factors. So I don't feel it is a wise decision in the end to invest somewhere and live somewhere else, because the idea might look shiny and appealing, but it doesn't have gravity to it. Talking of the gravity, the opposition has returned to their horse opera, thinking of getting PM Modi kidnapped. Such balderdash to be even commendable. These statements were followed by Mr. Kharge after Mr. Kharge was lollygagging about USA tariffs, something he doesn't know of. As per him, the increasing tariffs and the inability of India and the US to sign a trade deal can lead to such circumstances. Kharge needs to understand that though Trump is a failure for international and American democracy, he couldn't become the last hope of the INC. Still, let's answer this with facts. Indian exports to the US remained the highest even after 50% tariffs. Despite these risks, the Indian economy was resilient in the first half of the fiscal year 2025, showing a faster growth than expected, 7.6% in the June quarter and 8.2% in the 3 months ending in September. And let's not forget, Trump still loves PM Modi. What do we say? The guy's got a charm. So in the end, I would advise Mr. Kharge to work on his remaining tasks because as per the MP lads, you received a sanctioned amount of 33 lakhs and consumed less than 2/3 of it. Speaking of MP lads, it's a new scheme by PM Modi to track the work of any member of parliament. Now it's grabbing a foothold on social media. Speaking of another PM Modi's scheme, the SIR has triggered headlines as a total of 2.89 crore voters' names were not found in the new draft voter list issued by the Election Commission for Uttar Pradesh, which is 18.70% of the existing voter list, just when the state's election is around the corner. Further, 46.23 lakh voters, that is 2.99% of the existing voter list, were found dead during the SIR. Names of 2.17 crore voters were not found during the SIR process by the BLOs, which is 14.04% of the existing voter list. 25.47 lakh voters' names were found in more than one place, which is 1.65% of the existing voter list. This changes the entire dynamics of the UP's election, probably switching up the gears for the right party. Here's an opinion on the rightness for the leading party, though. Prakash Raj is getting criticized for his remarks. I quote, "Please try to understand that whatever is happening in this country is a preparation of a genocide. They want to wipe out Muslims, they want to wipe out tribal people, minorities. That is their agenda," unquote. Speaking of genocide, let's travel to history and speak of your favorite, Adolf Hitler, whom leftists exemplify several times for their agenda and manipulative tactics. Did he provide you with the information of committing a genocide? And if not, why do you think that RSS and BJP will inform you about the same or even let you feel that before committing anything like that? It's fascinating that you are someone from our country who narrates false propaganda and thinking. Speaking of another Congress state, as it took place in Hyderabad, let's see what follows the terrible remark by a minister in Karnataka. A 13-year-old girl was deflowered by 3 minors in Karnataka's Hubballi. This happens on a land that is governed by Congress. A government whose leaders think of this crime as an act to be enjoyed if inevitable. The same government that once before referred to these victims as false. I'm speaking of the ex-CM of Rajasthan, Ashok Gehlot, if you want to check the facts. The atrocities against young children are rising. Unfortunately, Navi, Mumbai reports 499 child abductions in 11 months with 41 missing. Upon searching these cases, it was found that not all of the disappearances were linked to criminal intent. Instead, they were linked to emotional distress, heightening the need to understand the new generation and prioritizing mental health. This mental health is also a concern in the land of JNU, where the students are protesting against the Supreme Court's order for no bail to Umar Khalid and Sharjeel. Concerning statements were raised against the Prime Minister and the Home Minister. The university has requested the Delhi police to lodge an FIR against those responsible. If everything goes well, they will soon find their ways to their idols, Umar and Sharjeel. So in a way, Indian democracy is safe as everyone gets to visit their places, the favorite ones, even if they prefer jails.